Hi friends, this is Juan Sanchez here. I just want to talk to you today about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Basically what I'm going to do, friends, is I want to go ahead and talk about each chapter of this book. I know I've read this book already a couple times. I'm going to continue reading the book because every time I read it, I find more and more things in this book that comes in my real life. Do you know Napoleon Hill actually interviewed 500 people, successful people, before he published his book back in 1937. And you also know that he was also broke and penniless a couple of times, but he ended up being successful himself. Why? Because he practiced what he went and interviewed his people for. He used the principles. I admire somebody who actually go ahead and follows the principles he talks about. You know, which is just not written down in the book and something he didn't practice. I mean, he actually practiced it, and he became very successful. So I admire that in somebody. One of the things that I want to talk about right now is going to talk about the first principle, which is desire. But I think it's the burning desire. Not just a desire, because I think having a desire is great, but having a burning desire, I think, is what's even more important, because this is what makes you start something and finish it. Don't quit, because sometimes when you quit, success is only 3 feet away from you or around the corner. This is a story about a guy who went west and looking for gold, and he bought a piece of land and went out, borrowed money to get this big machine to help him dig for gold. And he worked hard every day, and he digged and digged, and he was looking for the gold, but he never came across the gold. But you know, I think he had was a desire. He didn't have a burning desire, and he quit. And he went out and he found somebody else that he could sell the machine to, sold his piece of land, and the man who bought the equipment from him and the land went, saw where he was working at, make some adjustments to the machine, and he started working the land. But you know, he had a burning desire that he was going to find this gold. Well, guess what? Not too long after that, this man did find the gold. He became a millionaire. It was only 3 feet away from original spot where this other man had quit. Imagine that. It's 3 steps, 3 feet away from success. I'm sure you have ever heard other sayings where it's saying success is just around the corner. You know, it's the same thing. It's don't quit, because when you quit, your success is just around the corner. You work so hard to be where you're at. Let's continue on. Have the burning desire. That's what helps you accomplish what you need to do in life. Napoleon Hill, actually, in this book, he talked about 6 steps of richness. What he talked about was how to develop a mindset, actually, to become successful. And the first step, my friends, is what you have to do is you got to write down an amount of money that you desire. When I'm talking about write it down, it doesn't mean that you say, I wish I had $10,000, or I wish I make a lot of money. No, it's not about a lot of money or whatever. It's an exact amount. Say I want to make $10,000, $25,000, $1 million. Write down an amount. This is what helps get to exactly what you need. The second thing you want to do is you want to write down what is it you're going to give back. What is it you're going to do for this money? Okay, because it's very important, because nothing in life is nothing for free. The third thing you want to do is you want to write a date, which I think is one of the principles I really like about it. Is you want to write a date, because the date gives you that's a desire. Right there is your burning desire of when you want to accomplish this. Without a date, you can just go back and forth, and you'll never know when you're going to get this thing done. But when you have a date, you know you got to stick to it, and this is what creates that burning desire. The fourth thing you want to do is you want to have a definite plan of when you want to get this thing done. The fifth plan is you want to write down a different plan on the amount of the money, what you're going to get back, the date, and the action plan of how all this is going to come about. This is a very key point, because you want to have everything written down. It's like a goal. And once it's written, it will you take action on it. It will get done. The sixth thing in this is you want to do this twice a day, once in the morning, once before you go to bed. You know, it's affirmation. You want to repeat this over and over again. Once it gets repeated, it sticks in your mind, my friend, and it happens. It's just something that it kind of burns the desire into you, and it makes it happen. So one of the things I have to say to you is don't quit. Failure is not an option. So basically what you do is you bring the business behind you and continue on going forward. Don't have a way back, because that's when failure comes. Be successful in everything you do. Have the burning desire, and I think this will help you in your business. One of the things he also talked about on this was, he says, success comes to those who have success conscious. Failure comes to those who become failure conscious. My friend, I have a success conscious. I know I will be successful. How about you? One of the other things I read that I thought was really important, you might know this, it says, you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Friend, thank you again, and I'll see you again in the next chapter.